Hi and hello. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kay, and today I'm going to be taking you through my quarter one reading wrap up. I'm going to go through the first 3 months of the year, which coincidentally was winter. So I'm also going to touch on my winter TBR, the videos I made, and some of my highlight standouts from each month. And life is just too crazy to do a wrap up every month, but I am going to try to hold myself accountable to make these so that I can at least check in with my most standout books of the year, because I'm going to forget it. Let's start with my video. So in the first quarter, I made 2 videos, which is not what I wanted. I was really hoping for 1 video a month, but that just did not happen. But I did do a 26 and 2026 TBR, which I actually did make some progress on in the first quarter. And I also did a readathon time vlog, so I did at least get to wrap up a few books in that you will not hear about in this video. Jumping in with my winter TBR, and I am going to be going off my phone for some of this, and I'm also going to prop in my journal spreads here, so bonus fun. But I had 7 books that I tried to read in the winter months, and I did manage to read 4 of them. 1 was a DNF, and the other 3 were actually pretty well. So 2 of them I'm going to talk about later. So that was My Husband's Wife and Language of Dragons. As for the Magnolia Palace, this one just kind of ended up being fine. I gave it a 4 stars at the time, but underlyingly, I actually thought the author's message was kind of more interesting than the book at some parts. But we are following a main character here who was a artist model for sculpting, and this was a very scandalous thing at the time because, she's modeling. But she is accused and wrapped up in this kind of crime, so that kind of kickstarts her having to leave, and she ends up going and working for this really well-off family and learning how to be a lady secretary. So not much more to touch on with that, but let's go ahead and jump into each month, starting with January. So in January, I read 2,419 pages total. And of those, I actually had a variety of ratings. I had a 5-star, 4.5 star, 4-star, 3-star, and a memoir that I actually did not write. And that memoir was actually sent to me by the publisher. It was semi-well-adjusted despite literally everything, and it was on my 26th for 2026. It gave me new insight. It was really sad, honestly, and I don't really want to go too much more into it, but I would say if you're interested in it, read it. Alison Stoner was on Phineas and Ferb and Camp Rock, and yeah. And of the 8 books I read in January, 5 were from my own TBR, which was a big goal of mine. And my favorite book of January was The Language of Dragons, and this was a fairy loot pick, so it's Georgiana. And I really liked this one. It dealt with academia and a war. It was also historical fantasy, which is my bread and butter. And I really liked our main character having to go on this kind of journey of self-forgiveness. And a huge message in this book was that the hardest person to forgive is yourself. She's also being tasked with trying to save her family. There's a lot of studying going on and code cracking. And also, I don't know, just something about it. I really like this book. I need to get to book 2 though. And the dragons in this, I feel like were kind of a unique take compared to most dragon books out there. It was definitely more of them being their own separate species that even though they communicate with humans, they are very detached from humans. Honestly, overall, really liked it. And there's also a romance in here that the ending just had me feeling things. Another book from January I do want to point out because I have never heard anyone talk about it, and I always say take a chance on the book in the bookstore. This has less than 1,000 ratings, but this was honestly such a humorous time. It also had so much commentary backed into this book. It is a historical fantasy, more supernatural leaning, but we have a post-Civil War era, and we have a Black woman who has been turned into a ghoul, who is not quite a vampire, but is now dependent on this white lady who is a vampire. And it's about their toxic, codependent friendship, family bond, and it was honestly narrated in a way that was so funny. Highly recommend the audiobook for this, and I have honestly just want to scream at people to go read it because I really, really enjoyed it. Now, as for February, I don't know what was in the water, but February was an amazing reading month. I actually had 3 5-stars, which was amazing. 2 of them I'm going to be talking about here. The other one was in that readathon time vlog, and that was Signal Moon, and it was a novella, so all I can say is my heart was crushed. But overall, I did read 2,364 pages in February. Of these, I owned 4 of them. So go me, doing great. And then I also had, every book I read was a different rating, so you can see that from the template. And my favorite book of this month was The Lost Ticket. And this was just such a heartwarming read. We are following this girl who really is feeling like she is just going through life, not doing what she wants, trying to make her parents and family happy. When on this bus, she meets a man who has been riding the same bus for decades, trying to find the woman he had a missed connection with. And he does have Alzheimer's, so he is going to forget her sooner than later. And this book, it was very bittersweet at times, but overall, it was just such a hopeful message. And this guy with the mohawk, he is a big part of the story as well, in a way I was not expecting. And it was just so good. It's really heartwarming, and I have more from this author I really want to check out because all her books seem to have this kind of hope for vibe, and I really just, we all need some hope in this world we're living in. In February, I also read My Husband's Wife, who hasn't, and this was my first Alice Feeney book, and not to flex, but this was absolutely 5 stars. I was in depth thinking and reflecting so much while reading this book. The characters were so real, and honestly, there were parts of this that felt like an NCIS episode, and I don't know how to explain that, but if you watched the show, let me know if you also got that vibe, because we have a detective point of view, we have small town, and honestly, the audiobook for this was absolutely amazing, because there was a lot of running in this book. It was actually the sound of jogging, and as you can tell from the key, that's a huge part. And there's a sound of the key in the door not quite fitting, because this book is all about a woman who goes on a run, and when she comes back, her house key doesn't fit, and a woman answers the door who looks exactly like her, saying that she is Eden Fox, which is odd because Eden Fox is the person who just went on a run. And the woman's husband also comes down and claims that he has never seen this woman in his life. So it was just nonstop action. I really, really liked this book, and there's also kind of a STEM thriller twist thrown in there as well. But yeah, the people are right. This book is getting nonstop praise. It absolutely deserves it. And because February was just an absolute amazing reading month, I kind of fell off of it in March. I was in a slump where I wanted to read, but couldn't bring myself to read, which was absolutely so frustrating. So my page count is definitely down. I only got through 4 books in this month, and I read 1,728 pages. Although I made quite a decent dent in my 26 and 2026 TBR, and I am really hoping that I will have a vlog coming out for that in the coming months. But I did read 3 books off of that list, which is amazing. And which also means 3/4 of this TBR I also owned. So go me. And my favorite book from March was What a Difference a Duke Makes. And this is my first Lenora Bell. It is not going to be my last. I cannot wait to get to more of her books because this was just so much fun. And this is also kind of a Mary Poppins-esque story because we have this woman who is sent to be the nanny for this duke, and he is very much not sociable. He is kind of on the outskirts of society. He actually has a side quest going on where he is trying to make better fire trucks, essentially, and so they don't actually get, like, just trying to improve that technology. And he has 2 kids who have been, he didn't know about until recently. They've been raised far away. They are not good in the eyes of society. And so she comes in and she understands these kids. She is able to talk to these kids and build such a trust. Because of her, he is able to finally start getting to be more of a father figure and connect with his children and just the found family of it all. Also, she is also in her own kind of side quest because she is an orphan and she is trying to find out who came to see her ward guardian person who runs the orphanage, looking for her because she is hoping to find her parents. And honestly, I just really loved it. I can't wait to continue on. And like I said, just really fun historical romance. And the last standout book I want to talk to you about, I read in March, and this has become my Frida McFadden. She has super fast paced, so many plot twists, kind of don't know where the plot's going, but that is Jacqueline Goldis. And I read The Safari. I highly enjoyed this book. It would be a really awesome summertime thriller. There is so many things going on, and I've learned I absolutely adore a thriller set on a different country, a travel of some sort. It's amazing. But in this book, we are following this woman, and she is marrying a man 25 years younger than her, but she has now brought her family together, and they're going to this safari camp where they have been going all their lives. And this family is, I like to call it a soap opera family. Oh my goodness, I wanted to rescue one of the children in this family. They're all little, but nonetheless. Anyway, but on this, she is killed, her daughter is missing, and one of her sons is to blame. And this book just had non-stop plot twists, and the pacing was absolutely amazing, and I had so much fun with this book. So I am so glad I read it. I am definitely on the lookout for anything she publishes. I have read 2 of her books now, and both of them have been my cup of tea. So that concludes my Q1 wrap up. I hope you enjoyed this. Kind of a little different. I hope you like the new angle, because setting this camera up without a tripod is awful. It takes so much work. But let me know in the comments what your favorite read of the last 3 months was. And if you watched this video, thank you so much for sticking around in my bookish corner of the interweb. Please consider subscribing and sticking around. And until next time, I'm Kay. Bye!